All right, hello everybody. Hope your day is going well. It is Tuesday here across South Texas, and it's a nice day, you know. It's a little bit on the comfortable side to start off the day since we had temperatures drop way down to the 60s and 50s in the morning. It was a great morning to spend some time outdoors. I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it. Check my audio levels real quick. Just want to make sure that y'all can hear me just fine. I'm pulling up Facebook right now. I want to be able to answer some of y'all's questions, so please send them my way. I can tell you now, we still have a little bit of dust out there. Looking out from the San Antonio airport, you see a little bit of haze on the horizon. It's not as much dust as what we had yesterday, but there's still a little bit out there. That's a lookout from northwest San Antonio, and then, of course, Calaveras Lake as well. Yesterday, all that dust got kicked up after that cold front moved through. That dust moved in from areas like the Panhandle, all the way up through Kansas and Colorado. A lot of loose soil from dry conditions allowed that dust to move in, and it likely impacted your allergies. You may have noticed yourself sneezing a little more, maybe a little bit of a runny nose, and maybe even a little bit of a cough. That was likely from some of those allergens that were in the air yesterday. Not necessarily the mold, ragweed, or pigweed, which was all in at light levels, but it was that dust that we were really dealing with across the region. Temperatures in the 70s, not too bad. What's the allergy report today? Well, there's a lot in the air, but everything's light. Mold, ragweed, juniper, pigweed, all coming in at light levels. Doesn't matter how much there is, as long as ragweed's in the air, I always end up with a little bit of allergies myself. Here's a look at satellite and radar. No rain across the entire state. We are pretty much dry. There is a little bit of shower activity just kind of southeast of Brownsville. Maybe barely impacting the very tip of Texas there. Maybe a little bit of shower activity, but that's about it. Everyone else nice and dry. 40s to 50-degree dew points for a majority of our region. That is fairly dry conditions. That's fairly comfortable as well, so not too bad. We need some rainfall, though. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be staying dry for a good bit here. Temperature showing 70s across the region with a few spots already picking up 80 degrees on the dot. We make our way to this afternoon. These temperatures rise all the way to the 80s and 90s. By the way, guys, if you have questions, send them my way. I'd love to answer them in the Facebook chat here. Nice and clear for today. Not really going to see much in the way of cloud cover at all. We move into tonight, and these temperatures are going to back off towards the 50s and 60s across the region. You're going to wake up with comfortable conditions again tomorrow. We move into tomorrow afternoon, and the temperatures rise all the way up towards that 90-degree mark again. So we're staying hot the next few days here. We're going to see also moisture make a bit of a comeback by the time we head into Thursday morning, a little bit of more humidity, and that's going to be ahead of our next cold front, which may bring a little bit of rainfall. We have a few days within the 7-day forecast that bring a chance for rain. We're talking anywhere from a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for a lot of the area. That is not going to be enough to really help with the drought conditions. I think a lot of us will still make it through the next 7 days without a drop of rain. It just isn't going to be a lot of rainfall too. Those of us that do see rain are only going to see about a trace to a tenth of an inch. It's not going to be enough to really help things out a lot, but hey, we'll take what we can get. We really need a good soaking rain. When I say a good soaking rain, I'm talking an inch or two of rainfall, maybe even up to 3 inches of rainfall all at once to really help out with some of the drought conditions. Because we still have a lot of drought right there out from Uvalde through Carrizo Springs, Crystal City. There you see extreme drought. Areas off to our north, though, in much worse conditions. Look just west of Lubbock, stretching on up through the Panhandle, you see exceptional drought. That's where a lot of the dust got kicked up and sent down our way because of how bad the drought is in their area. And then you see that also up towards Colorado and Kansas, where they have extreme to exceptional drought, that large area. Some of the dust even came from all the way up there. So let's see here. When's the last time we got measurable rain? Greg was wondering. Greg, you know what? Let me pull up that information real quick, and I can let you know. I actually can't think of it off the top of my head myself. I feel like it's been a while since we've had measurable rainfall. I just got to pull up the records here, and while I'm doing that, I'll let you look at the aquifer. Now at 259.2 feet, you see that it has continued to fall. The 10-day average is at 660.6, and guys, it just doesn't look like we're going to be able to avoid dropping below the 660 foot mark for the 10-day average, which means it's looking like we're going to slip right back into stage 1 water restrictions. So just get ready for that. You see there, the monthly average is usually 663.5. We are obviously behind the average that is usually there for October. And the reason why October is typically a month that the aquifer is up a little more is because on average we have our second wettest month of the year in October. But this month has been very dry. We haven't had any rain, at least for this month in San Antonio. I'm pulling up last month to look at that data for you. And someone said May probably. I know, it does feel like that. It does feel like it's been all the way back to May since we had the last measurable rainfall. So the last time we had rain was back in September 28th. We had a trace. We had a trace on September 26th, a trace on September 22nd. We had measurable rainfall on the 21st of September. We had a little more than a half of an inch. That's it. The last time we got more than an inch of rain in one day was September 9th. So that lets you know, yeah, it's been very dry. You know, that's one of the problems here. We just haven't been too lucky with rainfall. And I'm going to show more about those monthly rainfall totals coming up on this next slide. So the average rainfall by month, you know, October, again, typically our second wettest month of the year, but this October has been very dry. Here we've had no rainfall so far. September we barely finished above average. We finished more than an inch above average in May, nearly 2 inches above average. April finished well above average there, barely above average in January. And then you see how far behind we were for months like June, July, August. You know, finishing up June more than 2 inches behind average. That's not good. You know, we were really behind, and that's one of the reasons why we're so behind on the year. The average for a full year in San Antonio amount of rainfall is 32.27 inches. We're at 18.19, and typically after you get through October, the amount of rainfall we see is a little more than 4 inches on average. So if we only get 4 more inches, or let's say even 5, let's be optimistic. Let's say we get 5 inches out of November, December, and the rest of October. That would only get us up, you know, a little bit further to that 32. We'd still finish the year like 9 inches behind average. You know, we're still well behind there, and it's just not looking too good for us as far as rainfall is concerned, because it's looking like a dry week. Again, 20% chance for rain on Friday after a cold front moves through, 10% chance on Monday. That's going to be a 20% chance for rain from Thursday night. So we may see rain Thursday night into Friday morning. So 90s for highs all the way through Thursday. Big cold front through on Thursday night and into Friday. Very windy conditions behind that front, and we're going to be having temperatures in the 50s for lows, 70s for highs on Friday, 50s for lows, 80s for highs on Saturday, and then you see the temperatures ticking up a little bit there for Sunday, but then another cold front through on Monday, cooling us down again with comfortable conditions. So what are we going to be seeing in the tropics over the next 5 days? We have a low chance for tropical developments near the Lesser Antilles. This tropical wave is going to help moisten up the Caribbean Sea, and we may start to see, or the atmosphere over the Caribbean rather. Obviously the Caribbean Sea already has enough moisture in it. It's water, but it'll moisten up the atmosphere over the Caribbean Sea, which could lead to more tropical development as we make our way into the end of October. Now, will these systems really impact the United States? Maybe Florida. It's still well too early to worry about it. It's just something we have to keep an eye on. But we have so many cold fronts sweeping through now that they'll likely continue to push these systems further away from the Gulf, we hope. Not saying that it's completely out of the blue for something to happen in the Gulf of Mexico this time of year, because remember, I believe Hurricane Michael was an October storm that impacted the panhandle of Florida right there near Apalachicola. So something that we'll have to watch real closely, but again, nothing to be concerned about right now. The system is still very far away from the United States and has a lot of time before it can even be considered a threat. So here's a look at our forecast from day 8 through day 14. We're looking beyond the 7-day forecast here. This gets us basically all the way through the end of the month of October, and it looks like these below average rainfall conditions that we've had will continue as we make our way throughout not just this week, but the next week. So it's not good news there. We need more rainfall. We need above average rain, and we're just not getting it. But the below average temperatures do look like they'll continue. We are kind of in this pattern where we could get some good cold fronts through the region. The only problem is we're not getting enough moisture in the atmosphere to really help support more rainfall as the cold fronts move through. So that drier air still being a little bit of an issue. Here's your Lone Star 3-day forecast. Over the next 3 days, temperatures in the 80s to 90s for highs. You see that it will be breezy in spots at times, especially as you get closer to the Panhandle on Wednesday and Thursday when that front moves through. That's Amarillo and Lubbock, of course, if you're not familiar with your Texas geography, if you may be a little bit newer to the San Antonio area. Texas State Park forecast, a lot of beautiful state parks around our region. Go check them out. This is the forecast for them for tomorrow. Going to be a little bit cool in the morning, a nice comfortable morning for a hike, but by the afternoon we warm up and it's going to be a little bit more on the hot side. So guys, I hope you can get out and have a wonderful Tuesday. It's going to be a beautiful day across the region. Temperatures are going to be a little bit on the hot side this afternoon, but if you can find a spot in the shade, thanks to lower humidity, it should be more manageable. A manageable 90. And I'll say more manageable 90, not necessarily manageable. It's still going to be hot, but not as bad as what we had over the weekend, at least. So I hope you can get out, have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll keep you updated on everything right here at Ken's 5. Don't forget, we have a newscast today at noon. Meteorologist Megan Massey is going to be on with the latest update to the forecast. Andrew Wilson will actually be anchoring the newscast at noon. And then, of course, we have 4, 5, 6, and 10 tonight. I believe, actually, we have a 4, 5, and 5:30 tonight. It's I believe this is one of those nights where we've actually had to push the newscast forward. But that's going to be happening, of course, this evening. Weather Chief Bill Taylor is going to be on with the latest update to the forecast, and we'll have the latest news across the region as we make our way into this evening. I hope you can tune into those. We'll have also an update on what's up with all this dust. How did it get here? You know, what's the full story behind it? You may have noticed a film on your car this morning of dust. I'm going to be giving a little bit of an update on that with Team Weather with Weather Chief Bill Taylor at 4 o'clock. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll keep you updated on everything right here at Ken's 5.